You might assume that adding more weight equals more results, but fitness training guidelines show it's not that simple. And you know what they say about assumptions. That's right, they can make a donkey out of you and me. If you want better workout results, I am gonna break down walking with a weighted vest, also known as rucking, which will increase your calorie burn by 10% per walk. I'll cover myth versus reality and share practical recommendations. Does adding weight to your walk really boost your fitness, or is it a disaster waiting to happen? My name's Andy, I'm an NCAA champion athlete and also a former wildland firefighter. And to qualify for that job, we had to do what is called a pack test. We had to wear a 45-pound weighted vest and walk, not run, 3 miles in under 45 minutes. And the same standard was applied to both men and women. So I've got some real experience with weighted walking. And not only that, this past month, I wore a 12-pound weighted vest on my walk every day. So stick around to see what I discovered. I am gonna cover the pros of walking with weight and the cons. And finally, my recommendations, including who should use a weighted vest, who shouldn't, and a smarter way to use this tool. You've probably already seen weighted vests on trails, treadmills, or online. They look like something a cute little dog would wear, but they're loaded with heavy plates or sandbags or iron sand. The idea is add weight, burn more calories, and build strength. The term rucking comes from the military, where they carry heavy rucksacks for long distances. But now that term is kind of thrown around with any sort of walking with weight. Any extra load is gonna make your body work harder and increase your metabolic demand and your calorie burn. And that's why many people find the weighted vest is the more comfortable method to add resistance during cardio. Let's start with the benefits of using a weighted vest during your walk. Number 1, increased calorie burn. Adding weight means burning more calories. Research shows that adding about 10% of your body weight will increase your energy expenditure by roughly 10%. So in practical terms, if you burn 200 calories on your walk, a vest might bump that up to 220. It's not huge, but over time, those calories will add up. But remember, you still need a daily calorie deficit to lose weight. So check out my other videos on exactly how to do that. Number 2, increased bone density. It's been shown that weight-bearing exercises helps build bone density, and a vest adds a little extra stimulus. But studies show modest benefits. Older women wearing weighted vests and jump training for a 5-year period increased bone density in the hip by about 4%. So walking with a weighted vest might give your hips and bones a little extra boost. But I've got more to say about this in the cons section, so stay tuned. Benefit number 3, convenience. A weighted vest leaves your hands free and doesn't change your gait like holding dumbbells or wearing ankle weights might do. You just put it on and walk. And there's a cool mental perk. A Stanford study showed that walking at a comfortable pace is shown to boost creative thinking by up to 60%. And my experience over the past month wearing my weighted vest is that my brain was mostly free for creative thought, but not quite as good as if I was walking without weight. Benefit number 4, muscle engagement. Walking with extra load means more muscles kick in. Your legs, especially your quads and your calves, push harder each step, and your core and your back have to stabilize the extra weight. And because the vest sits on your shoulders, your upper back and traps have to work to keep the vest into position. Now this is all low intensity, steady resistance. It's not enough to build big muscle, but if you don't do any strength training at all, it is enough to cause muscle hypertrophy. That means muscle growth. And so over time, you might see a little bit more muscle growth, you'll feel stronger in those areas, and you'll have more muscular endurance for those weighted walks. So that brings me to my personal story of wearing the weighted vest this last month. By the way, hit subscribe. I bought a 12-pound weighted vest, and that came out to about 7% of my body weight. And my first impression was, wow, this is really heavy. And I'm a guy who goes to the gym every day and lifts really heavy weights. We're talking like 225 on the bench. So a 12-pound weighted vest doesn't seem like that much, but for something like a walk, it actually was kind of heavy. So one of the first things I noticed is it does affect your balance. Wearing a weighted vest will raise the center of gravity in your body. And so it made me feel a little tipsy. And after walking for about 30 minutes, I could really feel the muscle engagement in those areas I just mentioned. My quads and my inner thighs, and also my heels and the bottom of my feet. Every step just had much more weight. But most importantly, I felt it in my traps. That's my upper back. And I work on my back all the time in the gym with a lot of heavy weight. So I have a feeling if you wear a weighted vest, you're gonna feel that in your back too. That brings me to the cons of walking with weights. Number 1, physique changes. There's a potential that walking with weight is gonna increase the size of your muscles in certain areas versus others. The repetitive load of walking with weight puts more emphasis on your quads from taking those steps, your calves, and your upper back or the trapezius muscle, but not so much your arms like your deltoids or your biceps. Additionally, this extra weight doesn't really put load on your glutes either. The result, you might strengthen or slightly enlarge your quads, your calves, and your upper back without really seeing any additional gains in size in your glutes. But don't despair. Stay tuned and I'll give you my recommendations for how to get a more snatched physique in just a sec. Downside number 2, bone density limits. Just because a weighted vest can add a few % of density to your bones doesn't mean that that's going to make such a big impact on the outcome. According to the National Academy of Sports Medicine, lifting weights or walking with weights might increase bone density by only a few %, but it is estimated that a 20% increase in bone density is needed to offset fractures. Therefore, the biggest protector against fractures is actually training to avoid falls in the first place. And that means good balance and leg strength. And downside number 3, injury risk. Extra weight means extra stress on your body. There have been accounts of people with neck or back issues having problems with weighted vests, and I can definitely understand why. If you have plantar fasciitis, that extra weight is going to add even more pressure on the bottom of your feet. And the increase in center of gravity is also going to mean a higher risk of falling down. And I actually felt this firsthand when I attempted to do lunges with the vest on. Now to my recommendations. Who is a weighted vest for, and who might want to skip it? Hit subscribe. Who is the weighted vest for? It's for the plateaued walker. If you're already walking regularly and you need more of a challenge without going further or faster, a weighted vest can help, especially with that extra 10% calorie burn. It's for the social walker. If you love walking with groups and at an easy pace, wearing a vest can make that same workout more challenging, still while keeping your hands and your mind free. It's for the feels hardcore crowd. You might love the badass vibes of a weighted vest. If it makes you feel motivated and tough and gets you out exercising, then that's a big win. And who is a weighted vest not for? It's not for pure fat loss seekers. If you think a vest alone will shred fat, think again. The extra calorie burn is modest, just 10%. So without diet discipline, you're not gonna see any changes in your body fat. So check out my other videos on how to do that. A weighted vest is not for people concerned with physique changes. If you're afraid of adding muscle to your thighs and your traps, your upper back, a heavy vest might not be ideal. Now those physique changes might be minor, but if you wear a vest heavy enough, you're gonna get some muscle hypertrophy or muscle growth just in those areas. A weighted vest is not for those with pain or balance issues. If you have existing knee, back, or foot problems, or you struggle with your balance, adding weight could make this a lot worse and potentially even dangerous. And it's widely recommended that if you do get a weighted vest, you start very light. Somewhere around 5% of your body weight is a good place to start. And even me, when I tried 7%, I felt that was kind of heavy. So over the course of my walks for the past month, I had a lot of time to think about a weighted vest and the physique changes that I think a lot of you are after. And because of this, I came up with a smarter alternative for your workout. Let's say you just have your 1 hour a day for your workout and you've been walking, but you want to level it up a little bit, especially if you want to target your glutes and improve your balance. I recommend adding body weight exercises. For example, start your 60-minute workout session with 15 minutes of body weight moves. Do alternating lunges for 3 sets of 10, and then do squats for 3 sets of 10. If you haven't done these in the past 6 months, you're gonna be sore the next day, just from your own body weight. Then with the remaining 45 minutes of your workout, go on your regular walk. This combination helps target your glutes, builds leg strength, and improves your balance better than walking alone. And for the overachievers, you can still wear the weighted vest while you do these leg exercises. In fact, NASM even suggests wearing a weighted vest while you do body weight exercises to make them more effective. Now, I was wearing the weighted vest after my gym workout, and I could barely even do a couple lunges. So if you wear a weighted vest, this is gonna be really hard. But like I said, that's for the overachievers. Okay, now that you've seen the pros and cons of weighted vest walking, it's time to apply one of the 4 fitness virtues, fitness prudence. Fitness prudence is all about making smart, intentional choices instead of chasing around fads and trends. Prudence means asking, does this actually move me closer to my goal? It's not just about doing more, it's about doing what's effective for you. A weighted vest might be a great tool, or it might be totally unnecessary. Practicing fitness prudence will help you make the right decision. Weighted vests can totally ramp up your walking workouts. You'll burn 10% more calories, challenge your muscles, and even nudge up your bone strength. However, these benefits are relatively small overall, and you have to use the vest wisely to avoid strain. My recommendation is start light, somewhere around 5 or maybe 10% of your body weight. But for a lot of people, I think it's probably unnecessary. You're much better off adding body weight exercises in the beginning of your walk. Here's a fun story. When I was out on my daily walk, a friend of mine flagged me down and she said, "Oh, you're wearing one of those." And she laughed. She said, "I'm an occupational therapist and we used to give those to kids with autism because it helps them feel grounded." And she said back in the day, they actually used to use fishing vests and put Ziploc bags full of sand in the pockets. So she laughed at me and patted me on the back and walked away. And I felt super cool about my vest after that. So then yesterday, before I filmed this video, I decided to walk one day without the vest. And I must say, the walk was a lot more enjoyable for me. I was fully able to let my mind wander and think about my work. And I didn't have this feeling of like, oh, when is the walk gonna be over? So I wanna hear from you. Down in the comments, are you team weighted vest or are you team unburdened? If you wear a weighted vest, what % of your body weight do you wear? And how far do you go? And if you're team unburdened, tell me why a regular old-fashioned walk is the way to go. And if you're thinking about getting a weighted vest, if you want that 10% calorie burn boost, I linked the exact vest that I bought down in the description below. I wanted something affordable, so I chose one of the cheapest options I could find. It was $23. The prices on Amazon, they bounce around all the time, but find out which one I used and then you can make up your mind. Keep in mind too, the prices change when you click the different amount of weight on the vest. All right, thanks for walking along with me on this topic. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Clicking like, leaving a comment, that really helps out a lot. It also helps me generate new ideas. I did this video because a lot of people in the comments asked about weighted vests. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.